Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today I want to talk about when you should farm your first GL ship, whether it's Executor or Profundity. Also, when you should farm your second one, so when you should farm both the Executor and the Profundity. So let's jump into it. Hey guys, before I start this, let me know in the comments which farm you would like me to cover. I did ask in my first video and I didn't get many responses on what you would like to farm. So let me know what farm you would like me to cover. The main reason you want to farm a GL ship is for this Fleet Arena. Fleet Arena and getting first in Fleet Arena or even top 5 is going to be really important because of fleet crystals. It is the best way to get crystals in the game until you hit Kyber. Once you hit Kyber in Grand Arena, then your crystal income starts to be more from Grand Arena than from fleets, but it's impossible to hit Kyber within a long within, let's say, like the first few months of playing the game, to be fair. So if you are a new player, if you're anywhere below Kyber and you want, even in Kyber, it doesn't matter what your Grand Arena placement is, you want these crystals. It's 400 crystals a day. If you think about it, it's a lot of crystals that players leave out that have been playing for years. There's some players that have been playing for 8-9 years and they don't get these. That's like almost a million credits or a million crystals that they've been missing out on. So it is a ton of crystals. It adds up. It is the best and fastest way that you can start developing your account and progressing in a fast manner. Other than guild income is very important too, but this is what you can do on your own. So when should you farm your first GL ship? It should be the first big farm that you do. So what that means is I do like the Executor. The Executor is just overall, in my opinion, the faster and better first fleet to farm because of what it brings into your account. It leads to some good assault battle and assault battle income. You don't have to farm Relic 9 materials, and while the Radis and Rogue One team is very good, the Profundity is excellent for attacks, I think your first GL ship should go on defense, and I do like the Executor for defense starting out. So it does have a cheap counter with the finalizer, but if you go with the triple attacker, it's going to be very good. And even in the early to mid, even sometimes in the late game, players don't have that finalizer either dialed in, or they don't understand the mechanics enough for it to work. So I've seen Executors hold all the way up into Kyber, and then it kind of falls off as a defense unless you go with triple attacker. So why you should farm this first is the fleets are going to help you a lot. So Boba Fett, Dengar, IG-88, Boss, that's going to lead towards Boba Fett. It's going to give you smuggler, it's going to give you credit heist. It's going to help you with your fleets. The Houndstooth solves all fleet issues. And if you've been playing as a new player and you have to go through these fleet battles, you can't use someone else's ship to push you through in the same manner that you can with energy, because with energy you can just, with the allies, you can use a GL or someone's lead and you can just 3-star any node on the ground, but you can't do that with fleet. You have to be able to beat these on your own, and the best way to do that is going to be with the Houndstooth. It just makes a lot of these fights a lot easier. It makes you survivable, and you're going to be able to get through all these. So it's an excellent early game, even late game. The Houndstooth is an amazing ship. It really does stand the test of time. It does fall off with like Leviathan TIE Defender, but it's a long time before that's really an issue. But as far as PvE, the Houndstooth, it's still amazing. It carries me through ROTE. It's just an amazing ship. So you're going to want to get that as soon as you can. And it leads to all assault battles. So with your assault battles, once you farm your first big ship, which should be the Executor, it's going to lead towards others assault battles. So you'll have R8 Piet, and Piet at R8 is the key. Like General Veers, Colonel Stark, you can get for cheap. You can farm Dark Trooper and Range Trooper, or you can do Gar Saxon Imperial Super Commando to do one of the assault battles pretty cheaply. But I think once you farm the Executor, you go Dark Trooper into Range Trooper. You'll have Colonel Stark, General Veers, which will lead to C. And then it's a super cheap, really fast way to get 2 assault battles done. So now you're getting fleet crystals, and then you have a really quick path to start getting 2 assault battles at challenge tier 3. So once you have all those bounty hunters farmed up at relic levels, that's going to unlock Chewbacca. You're going to get Han Solo through raids. CLS you farm kind of as a side farm, plus you do need those Empire's characters to kind of get through this farm. 3PO and 2PO you just farm, it's just a character, and then you will have to farm Ewoks for C3PO, but then that leads really easily into CLS, and then you can go Jedi Knight Luke, and then you can farm Jabba, and then after that you can farm the Profundity or JML Profundity, and that's when I would farm your second GL. So after you have at some of the assault battles, at least like 2 or 3 of them at CT3, you have your first GL ship, you have a GL, then you can go your second GL ship. What that second GL ship is going to do is you can place them both on defense, you can take one on offense, you kind of have to scout your opponent, but that's the earliest that I would recommend farming that second GL ship. I do think that, you know, like spoiler alert, Jabba should be your first GL, but even if you don't go with Jabba, if you have the light speed bundles and you farm SOKR, Rey, maybe even Star Killer, you're just like buying light speed bundles, you're farming all these things, maybe you unlock gas, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? You should farm Executor. Once you farm Executor, same thing, Imperial Troopers, CLS Rebels, into Jabba, and then you can farm Profundity. And that's when I think you should farm your second GL ship, is after you have Jabba. So that can apply anywhere, and they're both good. If you want to, you don't have to go Executor first. You can go Profundity first. It gives you an excellent, like an amazing ground team with Admiral Raddus and Jyn as the core. Cassian is really good in there too. You can use Biston as well. You can use Mon Mothma in there if you want to. And then the ship comes fully prepared. Like you don't have to do any more side farms. Like after you farm the Profundity, you have the complete Profundity. It's excellent at low stars, and that's why I say it's good as a second one, because if you farm that one, then it's really easy to just let it farm the shards slowly, and you don't have to go back and farm something else for it. The only thing you'll need for that farm is a tank. You can go Baze, you can go K2, you can go Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. I would say Baze or K2 is probably the best as the fifth, or if you farm 2 tanks, you can take out Biston. But either way, I've had, even with Relic 3 K2SO with no Zeta, it has been really successful for me. This team hasn't failed me yet. It's been really reliable. So it's an excellent farm. Would I recommend Profundity over Executor? No, I wouldn't, even though it's a good farm, but I think the Executor is best for starting. Get 3 assault battles done, your first GL, and then your second GL ship is perfectly fine. Or you can go Jabba JML Profundity or Jabba JML Leia Profundity. It's up to you. There's no real rush on the second GL ship, but there is a limit on when you should start farming it, which is you should at least have a GL. Having your first GL is going to do a lot for you as far as helping you with conquest, helping you with galactic challenges. It's also good to have a good GL on your bottom front wall and a good GL ship on your back wall, so that you can have a decent hold, and then you can try to win as many GACs as you can and start climbing through and trying to get decent crystal income. But at the end of the day, it's all about that crystal income and remaining competitive in your fleet shard, and then building good fleets, and don't just ignore the other fleets. That's not the purpose of this video, but build good fleets overall and side farm your fleets. But that's what I would recommend for these. Like, your first big farm should be a GL ship. I recommend Executor. You can go with Profundity. Other than that, like, I've kind of covered it all on when you should farm these ships. They're both important, they're both good. You can put both on defense. If you are going to split them, I would say you should go with Executor on defense, Profundity on offense. That's what I do. Also, or you can just put both of them on defense, have your opponent figure it out, and then you just clean them up as best you can on offense. So let me know in the comments what you think of when you should farm these. If you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, whatever you think. I'll say this, that's just my opinions on when I think you should farm these. And again, there's no rush on that second GL ship. I would say that by the time you have 4 GLs, that you should have 2 GL ships. So that's something to think about, like a 2-to-1 ratio, if you will. But other than that, that's all I really have to say about this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.